Hmm. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so we're gonna do this, I guess, as I try and get my audio to sync up. I was messing with things during the week, so I obviously hit the wrong button at some point. All right, looks like we're good to go. All right, well, you missed everything I said before, so just to restart, hello, I am Dante Pendragon. This is my weekly live show. It's Thursday, 8 p.m. ish. Uh, and that's when I'm going to keep trying to do some kind of live shows. I won't be doing one next week for the holidays, but once in the new year, then this will kind of be my regular live show slot. Um, unless something is up, and I need to check on that. Hold on. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know you did. Okay. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the board games that I have played this year that were new to me. So they may not be new to 2025. They may not have been published this year. In fact, almost all of them were not. I don't think any of them were. Nope, that's not true. Some of them were, but for the most part, they were not. Um, I have a monthly group that gets together, and I've been using that group to get through my um, shelf of opportunity, as we like to call it. So I've made a list of all the games I've played this year that were new to me. I've put them into a website called PubMeeple, which is known in the board gaming community, and I guess another. Uh, it's useful for other things, but it lets you go through a list and work through a kind of this or that rating system uh, until it kind of works its way through your entire list and kind of gives you your top 10 or your overall rankings. So I have, I think there's 22 games, um, and it indicates that I'm going to have to do 55 of these decisions, and after that, we should have my rankings for the year. Let's shoot over to the screen. All right. Here you can see my two choices are for Genesis and Streets. Um, if you have any, if you've played any of these games, have any comments, suggestions, thoughts, please throw them in the comments. I'll be interested to know if my opinions and my experience with them match yours. I know very strongly for a fact that some of them won't. But let's get started. So to start with, we have For Genesis and Streets. For Genesis is a little game that comes in like a soda can kind of container. That was the whole gimmick of this set was they all came in these soda cans and they fit in a cardboard fridge, and they're all two-player, pretty much abstract games. And this is, you have uh, guys around your corner. Your opponent has guys around their corner. Everybody has a special ability, or they can just move. And when you use this special ability, you flip them over. Then you have to use somebody else's ability to flip everyone back over. So it's just a goal to get from one end to the other. And then streets in streets, you're building out streets of a city with different buildings and building types that appeal to different residents, um, and kind of putting these residents out there. And then once a street kind of uh, is meets its termination on both sides, you score that street, remove all the residents, put them out onto other properties, and continue going until you reach the end of the game. So it's very much one of those. This is kind of what I'm setting up. I hope that this triggers in the future, but it also kind of depends on what my opponents put out. Um, Streets is okay. For Genesis is pretty boring. So in this case, I'm gonna go with Streets. All right. Next we come to Cryptid Urban Legends versus Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. Cryptid Urban Legends was a is a two-player abstract game that has the theme of cryptid hunt, but it doesn't really do anything other than there's like even the art on the game is not indicative of the fact that you're trying to hunt down Mothman or whatever. Um, it's a big logic puzzle, so if you like that, then you'll probably enjoy the game. It wasn't for us. Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. The funny story with this one is that uh, when I went up with my then girlfriend at the time to meet her family for the first time, uh, we went to a board game store with her brother, and he had been looking at that game and said he was interested in it. And my intention was to, because I have the app and I've played the app a few times and enjoyed it, and I just wanted to try it multiplayer once. So my intention was to buy it. We were going to play games later that night and hope they'd be able to play it and then gift it to him. We never got around to playing it, and then about 3 years later, I married his sister, and over Thanksgiving we played it, and I finally got to try it, and did indeed give it to him. So I no longer have it. But Cryptid, I didn't like at all. Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, I like, um, especially the solo version, which is best done on the app. So that one for sure. All right. Uh, from that same person, I received Qless, which is a word game. So there's a couple of dice that have letters on them, and you roll them out, and you kind of have to crossword style put them together to use up all of the letters. Uh, there's only I think two vowels in the set, so you have to go up and down or across and up and down to fit everything, and it's just a puzzle to work out exactly how you can, what words you can make. Vantage is the at least one game that I know is new for this year. I think it was new this year. Um, but it's a massive cooperative um, adventure game. Adventure game in the sense of inspired by games like Legend of Zelda, and you're on a big map and you explore and you find things, and you have a goal, and if you achieve your goal, that might lead to you completing your mission. But you can also kind of wander off and explore as you wish. Um, I only had a chance to play it once this year. It's a pretty large and time consuming game, so we haven't gotten to play it as much as we would have liked to. Um, but the one time we played, one of the players had found a card game on the world we were visiting, and they became obsessed with like trying to be the best at that card game. One guy took over a city. I was just going in a straight line. Um, but yeah, eventually one guy built a spaceship, and we were able to leave the planet. So uh, that was Vantage. A lot of interesting mechanisms that go along with it, but I liked Vantage a lot, so I'll take that one. All right. Shallow Regrets and Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. Two Imperial Settlers games that I played this year. Um, I'd played the original Imperial Settlers, which was an engine building game, and then after that they came out with this one, Empires of the North, which is a little bit more focused, a little bit streamlined, kind of took a bunch of the lessons they learned. Um, and yeah, that was pretty interesting. You choose, there's a couple of factions, and then each faction has two different decks, I believe, in the base set, and they play a little bit differently. So it's really about getting to know the cards that are available to you and kind of working out the best engine you can with them, which uh, I enjoy. Shallow Regrets is heavily inspired by um, the video game Dredge, where you are fishing, and there's, as you can see from the image, tentacles and eldritch creatures that you might pull up with your line. This was a button shy, so it's a 15 card plus expansion, small version of a game of the name of the larger game is escaping me, but it was a pared down version of another game that also exists. Was kind of the idea behind it. Uh, it's all right. You're it's two players. You're going back and forth. You know, picking cards out of some piles as to what fish you're going to try and catch, and then if you're strong enough, you can pull that fish in, and that gives you points. And some of them do things. It's all right. Like Imperial Sellers though. Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, the board game, and Wavelength. Wavelength is a team-based game where you have a clue and or you have a dial that has a spectrum, and you are given a category, and randomly there's a value chosen between the left and the right side, and you have to give an example of that category that will help your team guess about where your uh, target is. So if you were going, you know, it was months, and um, your dial was all the way at the right end, then you might say December, and they know that's the like. It's fun. It's a party game. Buffy is a cooperative game in the vein of games like Pandemic, or we felt it was really similar to Arkham Asylum Second Edition. So more Arkham Asylum than or Arkham Horror, sorry, uh, than Eldritch Horror, because it's the city of Sunnydale, and there's vampires popping up, and you have to take care of the vampires in order to chase down the bad guys, so you can beat up the bad guy and then go fight the big bad guy. It was fun. Very co-op game. It's one of those games where I like it, I'll keep it. because I love Buffy. If it comes out once a year for Halloween, that's probably where its place is. Wavelength, I'm okay on. Um, these are both kind of for me. I'll take Buffy just because it's not a party game. Dragon Eclipse and Boob. Boob is a two-player abstract game where you are a bunch of cats on a bed, and you're trying to knock your opponent's cats off the bed. As you do that, you're putting different cats out, and when your cats move, they bump other cats. There are a few different versions of the game. The one that we played is Boop. The base game is Boop, Boop, and then there's Boob, which is the ghost version. There's a Christmas version. There's more versions, and there's extra cats you can. So there's a whole system to it. But overall, the rules are basically the same except for some special ghosts. Dragon Eclipse is a 1 to 2 player, very story intensive, narrative kind of RPG. It's was billed as um, like a Pokemon board game. You have little monsters and you use them to fight other monsters, and if you achieve certain conditions during the battle, you can try and capture the other monster, and then that builds out your roster of monsters to use as you're going through this narrative story. And there's playbooks with maps, and you're exploring the maps and talking to people in villages, trying to get clues to uncover more of like the overall story. Um, I like it. It's very good. I love the narrative part. The monster fighting part is it's fine. Um, not incredibly interesting. Maybe it would be later on if once I've like earned more stuff. But uh, it's a lot of moving pieces. It's a bear to take out. It's a bear to set up. It's huge. Like the box is huge. So it's one of those kinds of games where you kind of have to leave it set up for until you think you're going to be done with it, um, which I do, and then I never get to it. If it was smaller and easier and not as overproduced, I don't even have the version with the miniatures. There's you can get the miniature version of it that had miniatures for every monster. I don't even have that. I just have standees. It's a good game, but it's too overproduced and it's too hard to get to the table. But I'm not a huge fan of abstract games, so I'll pick that. Tides of Madness and Spooktacular. Tides of Madness is a two-player game where you're drafting cards that chain off each other to score points, and you retain points between you retain cards between rounds. You play a couple of rounds, and then you do a final scoring. Tides of Madness introduces a Cthulhu spin on it and gives you the option to become mad depending on which cards you choose. Um, it's fun. It's pretty quick and easy to play. Spooktacular is maybe also new this year. It is the theme behind Spooktacular is that there is a horror movie festival taking place at a movie theater, and the monsters from all of the movies have come to life. And all of the patrons of the festival are trapped inside the theater, and you play as the monsters trying to scare them. It is very asymmetric. There are a ton of different monsters. Each one of them has their own way of playing the game that can be very different. So there's all kinds of replayability. Um, That's one of the things I really love about level 99 games is they kind of throw, just from the start, everything you need to kind of make that game um, really keep its presence felt. I only got to play it once, but I liked it. I'd play it more. Um, it's like I like both of these, but Spectacular has more to it, so I'll pick that. All right. We got Streets again, but then we've got Blank. Blank is a really a mass market game. It's basically Uno. You've got colors and symbols, and your opponent will play a card, and you have to, uh, or more, one or more cards, and you have to match the color or symbol of the card they just played with one of your cards. And if not, you draw. Simple, very basic. But a lot of the cards are kind of blank to start with, so they just have a symbol, or they just have, um, or they just have the color and the symbol. They don't have any special rules or anything. But whoever wins the game gets to take one of the cards and add something to it. So it becomes a living record of your game. Um, just as an example of the craziest card in my copy of the game is a game that when you draw that card, you have to uh, discard a card and give that card to the player uh, to your left. And so this is going on while other people are playing. So this card is going around the table in one direction while play is going in the other direction, and you're trying to have to. It really makes the whole thing just crazy. Or there's things like um, speak in a funny accent or draw three cards. Not that any accents are funny, but that's just an example of not something that's in my game, but that you would find in that kind of game, and it's an example of what kind of thing they might be in this. Um, I love Blank. It's one that I usually have on me because I just want my deck to be as crazy as possible with as much influence as I can. So that one over Streets. Um, Imperial Settlers, as we've discussed. Chupacabra Survive the Night is a push your luck dice game. Or no, it's not push your luck. It's you roll a bunch of dice and you're trying to uh, eat as many of your opponent's animals as you can without them shooting you. So we'll go with Imperial Settlers on that one. Oh, up against Chupacabra against Cryptid. Cryptid versus Cryptid. The heated battles brought to you here by Dante Pendragon, where only I can bring them to you, like this. Because I don't think anybody else in the world has played Chupacabra Survive the Night for the first time this year, except for me. But I'll pick Chupacabra. Vantage versus Destinies. Destinies is a game we've played a good bit this year. It is also an adventure game. It is competitive. It's up to 3 players. It's app driven. And you basically play through. It's not a campaign. You're not like carrying over your character or anything between stories, but it is a narrative through story um, that takes you between the different missions in the game. We like it. It's pretty fun. I always feel like my wife has more fun playing it than I do, but I always do better. So it's kind of a balance of like, because you're going around and you're trying to find new items, and it feels like she's always getting all the cool new equipment, but I'm knocking out, the correct order of people that I need to talk to complete my goals. So it's a lot of to it. It's got a really good skill-based system where as you're playing and like trying to talk to people or fight things, you've got a skill track, and as you generally when you do good, your thing goes up, and if you do bad, then maybe your thing goes down, or maybe it goes up. And there are things you can do that can move your stats around. It's just a pretty good system that I know they copied for their New Orleans themed game that just came out this year. Um, I'm gonna pick Vantage over Destinies, but Destinies is high up there. Destinies is gonna be over Keyless. This game is Killer, Frozen Horror, and HMS Dolores. This game is Killer is a series of games now. This Frozen Horror came out this year. Um, it's very affordable. So it's one that I picked up basically as soon as it came out. The first one in the series was Alien. There's an alien on the ship, and you're trying to blow it up the airlock, and um, you may or may not have to betray the other people on the ship. Uh, it's got a system where you get two cards dealt to you, and you have to play one, or each one is has like a top side and a bottom side, and you have to play one for the top, one for the bottom, but you get to choose which combination. Um, and it goes in a snake round, so one person will go, and go to the last player, and then the last player will play their second card, and then go back to the first player. But what that means is once you put your first card down, you're committed to playing the opposite end of the one you played. Or if you're later in the round, if somebody played something that's going to screw you over, then you have time to react. Um, Frozen Horror is the Thing version, which adds a hidden traitor element of you could be the Thing this round, and then you're trying to take somebody out, but the thing changes every round, so you don't know who it's going to. Like it always is somebody different. Um, Frozen Horror I like better with a bigger group, whereas the original version I think you can play with just a couple of people and still have a pretty good time with, but both of them are pretty good. HMS Dolores, I don't even know how to describe your every. It's basically a negotiation game. Every turn, you're putting out a bunch of items, and you're kind of making a deal with the other or one of the other players, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna take. It's like I want to take. It's prisoner's dilemma kind of decisions. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be good and share, or I'm gonna be mean and steal everything. And once you both agree on what you're going to do, the cards are resolved, and then you tally up and get points at the end. It's fine. There's nothing I want to play more about that. So that one's easy. Odin's Raven is a two-player game where you are playing cards in order to uh, move your Raven around a track, and the cards, their kind of placement matters, and it's pretty interesting, but it's not. It didn't really grab us. I don't know what it was about it. Um, I know there's people that really love this game. I can't really see wanting to play it like a second time. It was fun for what we played, but I like Imperial Settlers much more. But I do like it better than Shadow Regrets. Space Lunch. Space Lunch is another game from the creators of that soda can game. Different set, a different series. These ones were small box games. Uh, we didn't shuffle this one well enough that really factored into it, but it's a set collection game. But even if we had it, it wasn't that great. So Buffy. Wavelength. Peach Festival is another game from that same company. It's a roll and write. It's a little too fiddly for what it is. Um, I think it's inspired by their game series, The Tin Garden, which is a much bigger game. This is kind of the roll and write offshoot that was uh, part of their crowdfund. It's fine. Dragon Eclipse is better. Boop is better. Blank's probably gonna be my top game, or maybe not. But I play that. I'll play that anytime. Spooktacular, I've only gotten to play once, so blank. But Spooktacular is better than Streets. Tides of Madness is easier to get through than Streets. Vantage is better. Destiny's is better. Roll and Write's better than Word Games. Keyless is better than that one. Engine Building is better than that. That's better than Odin's Ravens. Pretty much everything's better than HMS Dolores, including Shallow Regrets. It's simpler. Dragon Eclipse, I'm more likely to get back to again before I would get to Buffy, so I'll say that. Boop. These are both kind of the same to me, but it's like I'd probably rather play it co-op. It's a little complicated. It's going to edge out Boop, but not by a huge amount. I'd play Wavelength over Boop. Boop over Space Lunch. Peach Festival over Space Lunch. Oh, this is really the which of these two powerhouses is it going to be for this year? Vantage is just a better game, but for example, my favorite game is a game called Pairs, which is a very simple card game in a pub game style where there's somebody that loses, but everyone else is the winner. And the whole point of the game is it's a deck of cards, and you're trying to not get two of the same card. Very simple, but everyone can play it. It's really easy. It's real quick. There's a lot of variants to it that make it interesting. I love that game. It's just so easy to play. Blank is right up there with that. So it's definitely one that like I always keep on my and will probably get played like everywhere I go. But Vantage is better. I like Blank more. Ooh, this is the thing with Destinies is we have I think one more mission. I do have an expansion, but I don't have a huge. There's not a huge desire to go back and like play through things I've already played. So I can see Destiny's kind of getting passed along pretty soon. Whereas Spooktacular, there's so much replayability in there, so I'm gonna pick Spooktacular. But Destiny's is better than Tides of Madness. Tides of Madness, I would rather play than a Roll and Write. I'd rather. This one's close. I'd rather play Streets. Yeah, pretty much everything's gonna be for Genesis, except for Cryptid. I like engine building better. That I'll play very frequently. Dragon Eclipse I'll play more. Buffy is better. Wavelength I just prefer the party game. Of these two, they're pretty similar. We played both of them at a board game and charcuterie night. I'd play Odin's Ravens before Boop. I'd play Boop before Shallow Regrets. But Shallow Regrets is much easier and faster than Peach Festival, which is incredibly like it feels very busy for a roll and write, but that's better than HMS Dolores. I'd say I don't like either of these, but I'd play Space Launch before HMS Dolores. Vantage. Blank. Huh. Imperial Settlers is a game where you want to pick a faction and kind of get good with that faction. You want to get to know that deck and how it works. Spooktacular, I would want to play different things every time. And I don't play games too many times, so I'd rather have it be a new and exciting experience every time than have to just learn how to get good with a particular setup. So I'll take Spooktacular. I'll take Destinies. Pure Sellers. I prefer a bigger game. Um, hmm. Tides of Madness is really simple and easy if you know how to play it. You can knock it out in a couple minutes. But this game is Killer's more fun. Um, Dragon Clips is a better game than Streets. Buffy's a better game than Streets. Wavelength is a better game than Streets. I like Streets better than Odin's Raven. I like the right rolling right. I like Keyless is more of an activity, but I kind of prefer it over Odin's Ravens. I'd play Odin's Ravens over Chupacabra. I'd play Boop over Chupacabra. These are about the same. Chupacabra, at least you have the fun of rolling a bunch of dice. For Genesis, it's not good. This is really the comparison is for Genesis versus Space Launch. And for Genesis, at least has good production. Actually, Space Launch has some really nice cards. They've got some like foiling on them that are pretty nice. But for Genesis, has little, like hard, nice feeling chips for all of the tokens you get to move around, and it comes with a little cloth map that fits into this tin. So I like that production, so I'm going to give it for Genesis for that. No, I don't like Cryptid. But do I like it more than HMS Dolores? In the fact that HMS Dolores could be played with multiple people and isn't just a two-player game, I'll pick the. But even it's a HMS Dolores has multiple players, but on your turn you pick one other player and do a prisoner's dilemma with that person. So unless the other players have one of the special cards that lets you do something special, it's really just a two-player game that keeps changing what two players are playing at any time. But I'd rather play that than Cryptid. All right, that's my ranking. So, my top 10 of the year: 1 is Vantage, 2 is Blank, 3 is Spooktacular, 4 is Destinies, 5 is Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North, 6 is This Game is Killer, Frozen Horror, 7 is Tides of Madness, 8 is Dragon Eclipse, 9 Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the board game, and 10 is Wavelength. And the rest of them are below that. All right, so that's been my top 10 new board games of 2025 that are new to me. If, yeah, I don't really have anything else for tonight, so that'll probably be it for us. So if you're seeing this at a later point, let me know if you've played any of these games, what your thoughts on them are. Did I misunderstand any of the ones that are? So we can take a look at my below 10. Am I missing something on any of those? Should I give them another chance? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I've got new videos coming out once a month for my Creating a World series, Creating World at Strata. which is my series where I play different world building games and use them to build out the world of Astrana, which is the world where my podcast Escape from a Noble Conservatory takes place. Also, check out my podcast Escape from a Noble Conservatory, where you generally find podcasts. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, and you could just Google it. Or you can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Dante Pendragon. There, you'll get updates about any of the new stuff that I post. There are behind the scenes or additional. Well, there's both. There's additional episodes of my podcast that are released only there. There are behind the scenes episodes. There's some making of things. Um, I have a free membership that'll just let you know about what's going on. Uh, we offer paid memberships that give you access to those subscriber bonus content, as well as access to my Discord. There's my gameplay series, I'll give it an hour, has moved to my other YouTube channel, which is 1 Hour DP Sessions. So you can watch the rest of that series there. New episodes for that go up twice a month over there, and slowly I'll be migrating all of my videos from this channel over to that channel for that series. So if you're just interested in the 1 hour video game series, I would check out that channel. But if you're just interested in all of what I have going on, then this will be your main destination. Okay, well, nobody's here. I'm all by myself. I got my fancy new gamer chair that my wife got me. I've got some pizza next to me. I've got my G Fuel. I'm set to stream. So if people want to watch, I'm ready. I I'm here to believe you. So I'm gonna be heading off. I do have another episode of Escape from the Noble Conservatory. Will be coming out next Friday. I think that's right. I'm in the process of writing that, finishing the writing and editing of that now, or the writing and proofreading of that now, and that'll get recorded and posted for next week. Um, yeah, that's it. If you've come to this after the fact, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch through it, and um, yeah, thanks. And hopefully, we'll see you live next time. And hopefully, I'll remember to tell people about it. All right, take care.